You've probably wondered why your favorite actor suddenly disappears from a hit series at the peak of its popularity. Producers say creative differences, but the real reason is often something far darker. In Turkish showbiz, nobody talks about it. But for some of these actors, the set became a place where they nearly lost everything. Not their career, their life. Today, 5 stars. 5 diagnoses. 5 stories that most people never heard the full version of. And stay until the last one, because the story of the final actor on this list will change the way you watch every single scene he ever filmed. First on our list, Neslihan Atagül, the woman millions know as the queen of Turkish drama. In 2021, she was at the absolute peak of her career. Starring in the season's biggest hit, The Ambassador's Daughter. Fans were watching every episode. And slowly, they started noticing something was wrong. She was disappearing in front of their eyes. Dark circles, alarming weight loss. The brightness she always carried on screen, gone. At first, everyone assumed it was the brutal filming schedule. But the truth was much harder. Neslihan was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, a condition where the body stops absorbing nutrients and essentially begins poisoning itself from within. Every scene in those final episodes was filmed through unbearable pain and weakness that most people couldn't have stood upright through. She fought to stay on set for as long as she could. Until one day, she simply couldn't walk onto the set anymore. Doctors gave her a verdict: immediate hospitalization and complete rest, or irreversible consequences. She made the hardest decision of her career. She walked away from the project, left her colleagues, left her fans, to simply survive. Many people at the time accused her of being difficult, of walking away from her responsibilities, not knowing that every single frame she had filmed in those final weeks had cost her more than anyone watching could imagine. Even years later, she follows a strict diet every single day to make sure the illness never comes back. Next, Kerem Bürsin, the star of Sen Çal Kapımı, the man whose physical condition on screen looks like it belongs to someone who has never had a bad day in their life. Which is exactly why what we're about to tell you is so surprising. For years, there have been persistent reports, never fully confirmed, never fully denied, that Kerem lives with a chronic health condition that makes his daily filming schedule something most people couldn't handle. Think about what a Turkish production day actually looks like. 16 hours, sometimes 20, constant stress, irregular meals, almost no sleep. For most actors, this is exhausting. For someone managing a chronic condition, it's a daily battle that nobody in the audience ever sees. Sources close to him say that from the early days of his career, every meal, every training session, every hour of rest was carefully scheduled with military precision. Not because he's obsessive about fitness, because he had no choice. What we see on screen, Serkan Bolat, perfectly composed, always in control, is the result not just of talent, but of an extraordinary level of discipline that goes far beyond what most people understand. Kerem has never made a public statement about his health. He has always preferred that fans see the strong actor on screen, not the person behind it managing something invisible every single day. And maybe that discipline, that daily quiet battle, is exactly what makes his performances feel so controlled, so precise, so real. One of the highest paid and most private actors in Turkey. We're used to seeing him play fearless heroes, men who never flinch, never break, never show weakness. In real life, Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ has been fighting an invisible enemy for years. He was diagnosed with sleep apnea, a condition that sounds manageable until you understand what it actually means. During sleep, breathing stops completely, repeatedly. In those moments, the brain and heart begin to starve for oxygen. The risk of sudden cardiac arrest increases dramatically. Now imagine this. After an 18-hour filming day, when your body is screaming for rest, sleep itself becomes a danger zone. For a long time, he kept it completely private, until journalists noticed him at a specialized sleep clinic. Only then did the information slowly come out. The daily consequences are brutal. Chronic fatigue, persistent headaches, a constant need to monitor and control the quality of every night's rest. To keep filming and stay in the kind of physical shape his roles demand, Kıvanc uses specialized medical equipment every single night and goes through regular clinical checkups that most people his age never think about. The man we watch on screen is the perfect hero. In reality, he knows the value of every breath the rest of us take completely for granted. The star of Fatih Harbiye, small, delicate, the kind of face that makes audiences trust her immediately. For years, Hazal Kaya was the subject of cruel public commentary. Tabloids relentlessly discussed her weight, without knowing or caring what was actually behind it. At 22 years old, right as her career was beginning to take off, Hazal was diagnosed with diabetes. For a young actress whose entire professional life was just beginning, it hit like a wall. Because of the illness, her weight fluctuated constantly. On set, she often felt so ill, she could barely stay on her feet. The tabloids had opinions. Nobody asked questions. She later opened up about what that period felt like. That at first she was in depression. That it felt like life was over. But she didn't stop. Hazal completely restructured her daily life. She started cooking her own food and bringing it to set in containers, calculating every gram of sugar in every meal. While other actors ordered from craft services, she was managing her body with a precision that nobody on set fully understood. She became one of the very few Turkish actresses to speak publicly and openly about diabetes, specifically to reach the thousands of people living with the same diagnosis who felt alone in it. To tell them it wasn't a death sentence for beauty or for a career. It was a reason to become more disciplined, more focused, stronger. Burak Özçivit. For millions of fans, the embodiment of strength and success, the face of Kuruluş, Osman, a man who spent 6 years playing one of the most powerful rulers in Ottoman history. But at the peak of his popularity during Kara Sevda, something quietly broke. Burak was diagnosed with emotional burnout syndrome, and what came with it was something he hadn't expected, a deep depression that crept in while the whole world was applauding. He spoke about it publicly. He said that at a certain point he had everything he had ever dreamed of, and stopped feeling any of it, that he just wanted to lock himself in a dark room and have nobody come near him. The pressure of fame, cameras everywhere, filming schedules of 20 hours a day, it had accumulated for years until his body and mind simply stopped cooperating. He had to step back from public life, work with professional therapists, rebuild himself away from the spotlight that had been burning him from the inside. Burak came back, stronger, more grounded. And when Kuruluş, Osman arrived, he was ready for 6 years of one of the most demanding roles in Turkish television history. But the man who played that role had already fought a private battle that most of his fans knew nothing about. And now, the story we promised you at the beginning, the one that will change the way you watch every scene he ever filmed. Kivanc, an actor of the old school, the kind of performer audiences loved not for his looks but for his wisdom, his presence, the weight he carried into every role. He hid his pain until the very end. While filming his final project, he already knew. The diagnosis was lung cancer, and it was moving fast. He kept showing up, kept filming, kept giving everything he had to the scenes, while carrying something the rest of the cast didn't know about. The kind of professionalism that isn't professionalism anymore. It's something else entirely. When the pain became unbearable, he recorded a video message. From his hospital bed, directly to his fans, he was struggling to breathe, and he was smiling. He thanked everyone for the love. He didn't want to be remembered as weak. He didn't want the last image his audience carried of him to be a man in pain. He passed away in August 2022. Now go back and watch any scene he filmed in those final months, knowing what he was carrying, knowing what every take cost him, knowing that the performance you're watching was happening while he was quietly saying goodbye. These actors, Neslihan, Kerem, Kivanc, Hazal, Kivanc, for us they are icons. For themselves, they are people who wake up every day and fight a battle the audience never sees. And maybe that's their greatest performance of all. Whose story hit you the hardest? Write it in the comments. And if this video moved you, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.